decided to go to Dallas. Texas A&M has a really good team, very physical, offensively, big offensive, huge offensive line, really well coached, has a lot of speed in their skill position, a lot of big receivers. Quarterback Marcel Reed, we're familiar with him. We tried to recruit him here. He's got a strong arm, ability to run. Like he might have been there. He rushed for 90 yards, I think 91 yards last week. They play a lot of different running backs. All of them have a great skill set, fast, speed, physical. And then I really like their tight end core. Number 17, I don't know I don't want to disrespect him by his not knowing how to say his last name, but Theo has made a couple of touchdown catches, really good route runner. So they're on offense, a lot of things to be concerned about and to plan for. Defensively, they're really good on their front four, and they have a lot of depth there too. A lot of athleticism there. Have some returning guys at linebacker that's made a lot of tackles a year ago, and then their secondary is really good. So special teams wise, their kick returner, punt returner is dynamic. The Bussey kid, I don't know if it's Bussey or Busey, but he's was the number one athlete in the country, I think a year ago when A&M recruited him year and a half ago. So very good team. They're one loss to a really good Notre Dame team. And so excited to go into Jerry Jones's place, a former Arkansas Razorback, and play the Aggies. Oh, let me say this too. I'm sorry. We have suspended Rashad DeBinion for indefinitely for violation of team rules as well. Okay.
Game Saturday. How important has recovery been and getting in the training room and all that stuff for you guys?
Yeah, I'm concerned. We're out of it, Trey, healthier than what we were at Oklahoma State. But the problem, some of them guys that were hurt at Oklahoma State aren't back yet either. I talked to Dave and I said, we need to get some guys back. We keep going in, but we're not getting as many back. I do think there's a possibility to get Clark back this week, get Braxton back. They would probably be on the list as probable right now if we came out that. I thought Nichols, I think he'll be a lot better today's practice than what he was last Monday. So really out of that game, Armstrong took a heck of a hit, but he obviously played. Really not anybody coming out of that game that we don't anticipate being ready to play this week.
Get your thoughts after watching the film of the game, specifically on offense. Not always pretty, but seemed like when you really needed it, you got it done. And Talon, after coming out, I think had 3 straight scoring drives.
Yeah, I think we've got to be. Talon's got to be better, but and he'll tell you that. But we've got to be better around him. Our protection game is not very good right now, and it's not necessarily getting beat one-on-one. It's again not by blocking the 5 most dangerous in a 5-man protection, not holding up at tight end, and when they're in protection, not blocking well at running back when they're in protection. And if you're Taylor Green, you're back there, you're expecting that these guys are blocked. And so probably the most concerning part of offensive football from Saturday was the way that we did not protect the quarterback. And as we all know who played the game, at some point you're going to try to do too much because you're feeling like you're we've got to make a big play because we're not just consistently driving the ball down the field. So with all that said, Taylor's got to make good decisions, but at the same time, we've got to get a lot better around him, especially in protections, for us to hit on all cylinders. Which, let's say this, I believe that we are capable, and I believe that we will, but we've got to get better there, and I think we'll become a much better offense at that point.
Funneling right into that, his freelancing has been some of your best plays, but he's also gone airborne a few times. And I mean, do you wince, or is that just part of his game and you can accept it? Because I think 3 times he landed pretty hard.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line with him because, he tried to, I guess, run over a guy with his feet in the chest, or I don't know what it was. He tried to hurdle a guy that there was standing 6 foot tall. I don't know how you say it. And then, he'll slide at times. We really haven't talked to him about he's got to get down and all that. We have talked to him about not, someone's got him, not trying to stand up and get pelted by number 2 and 3 coming around. But we don't want to put limitations on him, I guess. But we need him to stay healthy. So there's fine lines in there, I guess.
Your thoughts about the series? This may be the last game down there.
Yeah.
And it's just been maybe excruciating for Arkansas fans, the number of close games that haven't gone your way. Maybe what's your thoughts about the entirety of playing down there against them?
Well, I guess this is year 10, and I don't know how many we've won. How many have we won? It was a couple years ago. So obviously it hadn't been a great series for us. But there's excitement in recruiting about the game. There's excitement for the players. We have a lot of Texas kids and going back to Dallas and playing in the stadium and, alumni, great alumni of Mr. Jones. But to be honest with you, with Little Rock and with Dallas, I mean, we're playing one game out of the first 5 at home, and Auburn's going to play 5 in a row at home. And I believe that it's really hard to get the fan base excited if they don't have an opportunity to see the Hogs, and this will give an opportunity, at least one more every other year to have a home game. And so as grateful as we are for going to Dallas, it's the last time. Obviously, we'd like to win it and bring the trophy back.
You guys, a few sacks, especially on that last drive. You had 2 big sacks. What did you see from the pressure overall? Did any specific player maybe contribute to that uptick in quarterback pressure, or some scheme things there?
Well, I think that the illusion of pressure helped us. We pressured them, but then there was illusion of which one of these 6 guys in here are going to rush the passer. And anytime you put doubt in, and I'm not saying there was, but it looked like it, anytime you put doubt in offensive linemen's minds about, and that's why everybody stands up and you've got 6 or 7 guys and 3 of them drop out. They're trying to figure out which ones are rushing and which. Anytime you do that, the O linemen are playing slower. And I felt like our illusion of pressure, whether we were going to blitz or not, helped us tremendously. I thought it helped us on the edge. I felt like we did a much better job pushing the pocket inside, and I felt like our defensive ends were getting edge pressure. So I think you put all those together, and obviously we covered well, but you put all those together, and we wanted to try to, you want to sack guys, but I think the main thing is we wanted to move the quarterback off his spot, and I felt like we did that pretty well during the game.
How good was it to see the secondary play the way they did without Braxton? And, moving forward, what does that do for those guys and their confidence with, the rest of the SEC schedule coming?
Well, it should. We played three. I thought Stewart, we don't talk about him, but I thought he played really well in his 30-some snaps, as well as Singletary and Cuddy. But we needed them. I think it's going to help us in the long run. We played more players, played more earlier. We played more D linemen, which we learned a little bit from Oklahoma State, that we needed to get guys a little so we could be fresher at the end of the game. But I think it's very, very big that we can go out there and I'm sure you might have wanted to mention Clark as well. You know what I mean? Or you may have, but without Hudson out there, I think it just helps us as the season goes on, building confidence, and it certainly helps the team because you got other guys that are playing that normally might not have a shot to play that many reps. They go out there and they play well. TJ Metcalf is the same way, where he's maybe not starting, maybe starting, and then this year. He's played really outstanding football, so he got his opportunity, and the more you get them out there, the more you can see and see if they're gamers or not. And I was really pleased. That's a good question. I was really pleased with those guys.
Coach, more on just the back end of the secondary, Johnson, Slaughter, and TJ. Do you feel like maybe other than I don't know what happened on the 4th and 2 that Auburn, went for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But other than that, do you feel like maybe those three played about as well as they played as a group?
I did. I'll be honest with you. And TJ played a magnificent game. So did Slaughter. Slaughter was really, really good. Really good. Jaden came up and did a good job as well. We've got to get guys on the ground, a little bit more there with our secondary coming up and tackling. But Slaughter played outstanding. We just took a bad angle on the 4th and 3, and those are if you said something defensively, it would be we can't give up explosive plays, and we gave up really 2 big ones in the game, and we can't afford to do that. But totality, they really played well, as you know, and I thought those safeties did a good job. If you play any defense and they have good safeties like Auburn did, if they have good safeties, it's hard to run the football and hard to throw the football. And I felt like we are getting better and better in that aspect.
This team puts a complete game together on offense and defense in the same game. Do you feel like you probably play with anyone on the schedule?
Well, I do. I mean, I feel like we've got a good football team. I've said that from the beginning, and I believe it, or I just wouldn't say it. We're still much a work in progress. I think a lot of people are in this portal world, but at the same time, I believe we can get a lot better because of the culture and the feeling in the building, and everybody's trying to work. So I think we'll be a much better team as the season keeps progressing. But yeah, I think we can compete with anybody on our schedule.
Sam, you've mentioned about wanting to get Luke Has more involved on the offense. Just what do you think has led to his lack of production through 4 games? Is it defense is keying in on him, or play calls, or what do you think is going on?
I don't really think so. I think a bunch of it is we're not protecting the quarterback, as well as we should, and he's running all over the place. I think once we can protect him better, I think Luke will show up a bunch. I talked to Coach Petrino about that today, as a matter of fact, and we have several plays where he's the target. Just so sometimes he's the plays called and the quarterback's running all over the place. We know how valuable he is, and we're certainly trying to use that value. We'd be silly not to. And I just think, in all honesty, I think on his particular, he's the first read. For some reason, we've had protection breakdowns.
I think last week you mentioned how he was improved as a blocker. What's it say about him that he's improved in that area of his game, is still doing that as well as he has, despite not maybe getting the targets he was hoping for?
That's just what kind of kid he is. all of us, when we played the game, wanted to do well personally. And a lot of people that are tight ends think the only thing, if you have stats and you catch footballs and you played well, this guy is playing his best football that he's ever played here. He just not catching the football as much as he normally did. He's so much better right now than he was a year ago. It just hasn't showed up in the stats yet. Shown up, excuse me.
You mentioned him a little bit at the start, Marcel Reed, their quarterback. Just what do you think he's done particularly well to this point for them?
What he's done well is he's ran the offense. I mean, you don't see a lot of confusion from his O-line to him. He has gotten out of bad plays. In other words, if he's feeling pressure, he can run and make plays. And he's done a good job of not giving it to the opponent. But to me, he's shown a lot of class, a lot of poise by running the offense and taking what's given. They do have quarterback designed runs with him, and he's very aggressive there. But to me, he's just playing older than what his game experience would be.
Now you have 4 games under your belt. Just what do you think that you've learned about your team this year through those 4 games?
Well, I think we can be a lot better than what we are right now. I learned that we're a resilient group. I learned that if we'll get them ready at practice, we'll play well during the game. We certainly have to take care of the ball better, but I really like this team. I like, being in the locker room after the game Saturday is priceless. You can't buy it. It was a lot of fun. We've got a mature team. Had four penalties for 20 yards. We're getting better there. What I really learned is if we ask them to do it, they're going to go out and try to do it at the best of their ability. And you're going to get better that way if you're coaching them well. And I learned that this is a really fun team to be in front of.
Yeah, Sam, I'm sure they have to do an injury report just like everybody later in the week. So I don't know what's going on with Wegman, but
Yeah.
how does that affect your all's preparation? Maybe not being sure which guy will start.
Oh, probably not a whole lot. Connor's athletic as well as Marcel. Probably not a tremendous amount of difference in how we'll prepare for that game.
You guys got a lot of players from Texas, a lot of really key guys. How important is Texas to Arkansas? I mean, and how excited do you think those guys are? This is their one chance to go play back in their home state.
Well, I think they're really excited to go to Dallas. I think if you look at any program, I don't know, within a direct flight from, Texas has so many athletes that I think there's a lot of programs that rely on Texas football players. We happen to be one of them. And, a lot of ours is East Texas, the Dallas area where we're going back to. Obviously, you have Jaquindon and Talon, from that area, and Andrew Armstrong from that area. And so I think, obviously they want to go back and have a big show, but Texas is very vital for us in recruiting.
Next question too. Now about the kicking though. Ashton, no, Scott, he's a super dangerous returner, and no snapped and got down there and tackled him twice. I just wonder what do you think it says about him to go down and tackle a guy like that, and then just what kind of job has he been doing snapping for you?
I have 5 clips that I'm going to show the team today, and 2 of them have to do with No. One of them, he made the tackle, and it's a guy returned a touchdown last year against us, and No goes down there and tackles him, and the next one, him and dadgummit, our returner last year. Bryce Stevens. Him and Bryce Stevens went down there, and then I've got another one where our kicker kicks off and he goes and makes the tackle. And I got another one, Jasmine James, who's not playing on wide receiver, but he is gloving up their gunner. And then I had one more on there. Dylan Has, who's not playing defense, but three guys had to block him. And the message is this is about a team. You know what I mean? So No did a wonderful job there, and I think the guys are really buying in on special teams. We could have played better and all that, but we played really well. Obviously, we got to find a way to make the very first kick in the game. You know, that's 2 out of 3, and he'll get better. He'll get more confidence, but he did a nice job of making the one to put us up 10.
And no snap, and I haven't detected a bad snap for him.
No, he's been really good there on both short and long. So he doing a really good job. He's a fun kid. That whole special teams room's a fun group of guys. The specialists are a fun group of guys. They love the Hogs and a lot of fun to be around.
You've been on the staff a bunch of times on the trip to Arlington, head coach several times down there. You mentioned the difficulties winning in that building. Not so much what is it? What is something you think maybe that could change that would flip this result in your favor?
Well, I think every game is unique along with every team. And you look back at my 4 previous years down there and well, the first one was supposed to be in Arlington and somehow COVID moved it to College Station. I don't understand that one. Still don't. But somehow it was a home game. I need to get off of that, but the other 3 down there, potentially, we could have won at least 2 of those games, and got to find a way to finish the game. I don't think it's a mystique about A&M or playing in Dallas or anything like that. I just think that we got to figure out how to finish and hold on to the ball and just basic things you do in every game. But I do love the atmosphere going into that stadium with half the people from Arkansas and half the people from Texas A&M. It's really, really cool, and it's a great environment to be, and it's a lot of fun. Funner whenever you win, but we'll try to do that this week.
One more, Coach, and Ed, that was just, you ran the ball 10 straight times in the fourth quarter. I mean, what does that say about your confidence in the offensive line and the ground game right now?
Well, we needed it. We needed to do that, need to take some time off the clock. Bobby has a lot of confidence in our backs, our running game, our blockers. That include Talon in that, obviously. But that drive pretty much took the clock away and to finish it. And especially when they got back within 3, that was a big deal.
Speaking of running backs, Russell got cut loose a little bit and got some action. What was it about where his progression, I guess, where you felt more comfortable getting him?
Yeah, we've always believed in him, Trey, because you're not going to put a guy in on a goal line down here on the 2-yard line and it's his first carry of the game if you don't believe in him. When you're early, you're kind of finding out about your team and you're kind of finding out how many carries can 22 take and how many. And so I think it's just been a little bit about us learning our backfield and are we going to try to play 4? Are we going to try to play 5? Or are we going to try to play 3? And going into the game last week, it was more the last. It was more, hey, we're going to play 3 guys, and Braylon's got to get in there. And, the one, he cut one up the middle. I don't know what it was, 12, 15-yard run in there, and he looked really good. And anytime a guy that you haven't played a lot goes in and has early success, you play him a little bit more, and I imagine his load per game will amp up a little bit more. But we just saw that he was practicing extremely well. We always have believed in him. It's just it's a little scary to put a young one in there early, and we finally said, hey, we got to, because we got to be fresh in the fourth quarter. he'll help us. And so that's what we did.
You would have coached against Mike Elko in 2020
Mhm.
in College Station and 2021. Any other run-ins with him, whether it's on recruiting trail, past?
No, I like him. He's
situation?
a very, very smart guy. Very, very good defensively, obviously, and has proven, at Duke, and now is a very, very good head coach. I like him, respect him. I've gotten to know him in the head coaches meetings, but I'll say this: he's a very, very intelligent man, and has done a really good job there. But other than that, no.
Hey, coach, a couple of the snap issues popped up again on Saturday, low out to the right for Taylor. Just watching the tape back, what did you see on that, and what's it going to take to fix that?
Well, the one that went on the ground was he was moving to his left and he snapped it right. It's not so much we're snapping the ball too hard. We're snapping it too fast. I mean, it's coming back there like a Nolan Ryan fastball, And if you're off a little bit, the ball's hard to catch. And if he's low, I mean, Taylor's a bunch, 6'6", 6'7". And so, look, if you don't do something full speed, and we've got to get this fixed as well, but if you don't do something full speed, then you've really never done it. In other words, if I'm going to be going full speed in a game, and I haven't been able to because of my ankle in practice, you've snapped, but you haven't snapped what a game's like. And I think Addison's doing a good job. We'll get it fixed. We have to get it fixed. But I think it'll be better this week because he'll be able to go full speed on that ankle.
Mentioned Coach Elko's defensive background, just scheme wise, what makes him such a good coach? What makes it so difficult to attack?
A lot of it has to do with base downs, but I think he's really, really a genius. I don't know what the word is. Very, very good in third down pressures. He'll always have something new, and then he'll have his old reliables. But again, it's who's coming, who you're supposed to block. I think great defensive coordinators have a really good package for each game, and then they try to tweak the package for each game. He's really, really good at that.
You guys have no shortage of impact transfers, but Saturday you had, TJ, Isaiah making, big plays. How gratifying is that personally for the program, for your recruiting moving forward, that guys that have come in from their true freshman year are making SEC winning plays?
Yeah, it's amazing how it's a blend now, and I think that's that way in most programs, but it's a blend of guys and I tell you, to watch a guy like Isaiah and here's what he was, and here's what he is. Very, very gratifying I mean, that was a great catch. It was pass interference, but it was a great catch as well. And I'm sure they didn't call it because it was a touchdown, but to go up over that guy and catch that ball. But he also made two other, really good plays for us, and certainly he's valuable in special teams. But you asked a question basically about the guys that have been here and were very, very Campbell, guys like that Landon was transfer, I guess, but we're glad he's here. But Campbell, I can't even think of Eric Gregory. And those guys that have been here for a while, and to see them progress in the program and now become leaders in the program, pretty special deal.
Does that make a difference in recruiting? Like it's guys from that started.
I think it does. I do, especially local. When I call local, 5, 6 hour radius of our state. I think it does.
I think we were unaware of the Pashka injury until the report came out. But can you update us on what's happening with him?
Concussion protocol. So I don't know whether he'll be back this week or not. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm sure both teams had some gripes about certain plays in that game, but there was a running into the punter that looked pretty obvious on replay. I mean, do you guys still do the compilation and send it into
Yeah.
the office?
We sent it in. That was one of the plays on there, and we haven't gotten the review back yet. But it looked like he ran into him and he fell down to me. But I looked at 2 or 3 times. It still looked like he ran into him and he fell down. But we'll see what it is. I'm not an official, and I don't want to get fined, so I'll wait to see what they say.
You had a couple 3 players that Talon led them and they got smashed by a defender.
Hmm.
And as TV talked about it, maybe there was a little drifting of some routes. So I wonder about the timing. How critical maybe is it for the timing to be a little better
It
so
is.
those don't happen?
You're 100% on. The timing's got to be better on that. I think when the protection gets better, the timing will be better as well. I don't know as much as, I think we'll get the ball out of our hands faster too. I don't know as much. We didn't feel like it was much as route running as just the timing and the pressure in his face to get the ball off.
Coach, going back to what you were talking about with the offensive line and pass protection, what is it specifically you're not seeing from your guys that is allowing them to give Talon more time?
Well, one, the offensive line is responsible for 5-man protection, and we've got to block the 5 guys that are coming. And if they bring 6, we've got to block the first 5. We're not doing that. Okay, so that's one. 2, we have to communicate better to get our backs on the 6th guy in 6-man protection. And we had way too many missed assignments on that. And so to answer your question, for the most part, it's not we're getting our butt whipped. We're not doing what we're coached assignment wise. And the kids are trying their tail off. And I'm not giving an excuse. It was really loud out there, but some of these things are base stuff that we should certainly pick up, and we did not.
Considering the fact that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you've got 3 new guys along the offensive line this year. In the day and age of the transfer portal, how much more difficult is it to get specifically the offensive line to play as one unit when you've got so many guys coming in either in the spring or at the beginning of the fall?
2 things here. Number one, I really like our offensive line, and I'm sitting here talking about pass protection, and we're running the ball extremely well. We've got to get better at pass protection, but I could say that every single week as well. Okay, so I'm really, really proud of what Coach Mateus and the offensive line have done, and we are getting much, much better. So I want to make that very, very clear. I forget what your question was.
Just from the standpoint that when you've got so many transfers coming in nowadays on the offensive line, how much more difficult is it to get them to play as a unit when you don't have as much time with them or they haven't been in the system?
I think that's the biggest thing about if you see what's going on in college football. I'm not for sure there's as good offensive lines out there as there used to be. And that's the old freshman red shirt. Here we go. I've coached 2 old linemen at redshirted that got drafted in the first round. One in the 7th pick and one the 29th pick. And, but you don't have them that long anymore. It's either if they're really good, they'll be out in 3. If they're need developed, they'll be out in 1 to somebody else's school because they'll go develop somewhere else and then leave and go develop somewhere else. And you just don't have the kids as long. And that's the one more than anything that has to be cohesive together. We're talking about mistakes right now that will get fixed, but that we're talking about mistakes that I think if you had these guys together for a little bit longer than 4 games, I'm not for sure that we'd be making them because we've got good players and we've got good coaches. We've got intelligent players. We've got to do a better job, and that starts with me, of getting that fixed. But I think to your point, I think where you see it is offensive line play. I don't think if you look around the league, I just don't think it's as good as it used to be.
You mentioned the guys from Texas, Dallas area. In your experience here, how much has this game helped recruiting? And how much do you think it'll be a factor not playing the game there?
I don't know that it will be a factor, not playing the game there. You know, for instance, A&M can bring recruits and we can't, you know, so I don't every other year. I actually think it's going to be better because we'll be able to bring our recruits here next year to play A&M in here. And you can't tell me it's not going to be sold out and crazy in here. So there's some advantages there. How it would affect the recruiting, we'll have to wait and see. The long history of Arkansas football before they played in that game, they had some pretty darn good Texas players as well. So hopefully that'll be the situation. I think recruiting is a lot about working and about what's your record and needs, and now it becomes and money. But I don't know. I hope I answered your question.
Hey, Sam, I don't know if you think about stuff like this, but when the series was renewed, when Bobby was the head coach, he went 3-0. So you and Bobby are the only Arkansas coaches to beat A&M since the series got renewed back in, I guess it was 08. Just, do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, I'm glad he did. I mean, maybe we can go 4-0, you know. No, I mean, you know, Bobby, when he was there, they were rolling, you know, had good football teams and but really we haven't talked about, you know, really that far back, you know, but I don't know. I'm glad he's on our staff and hopefully, you know, we can go get us another one.
And you're talking about how smart Elko is. He went to Penn, you know, so he's an Ivy League guy.
Yeah.
And all
I
due
went to
respect,
Penn, Spur State.
yeah, all due respect to all the, I can't think of another SEC coach from an Ivy League school, or for that matter, at any of the big power schools. You just don't see it very often.
Yeah. It's obvious one of us didn't go. That'd be up here.
I don't mean that.
That's all right. I mean, 6 years I got my PE degree. What
Yeah.
the heck?
But yeah, does he seem like an Ivy League guy in those meetings, or does he talk like an Ivy League guy, or just wondering how he is with that?
He just really, I mean, you can tell he's intelligent just by the way he talks and certainly knows football as well. And I knew he went to Penn, but him and the head of officials, he went to Harvard, I think, or Yale, I can't remember. Which one was it, Pat? Harvard. So them guys, they're gonna win the spelling bee, I can tell you that.